having all these guitar tours come up now with like different players, different styles of music, but like all sort of for the love of the instrument, you know?
Exactly. And I think it's really cool that it's almost like it was pre-written for us to do something because we shared the Guitar World cover at the end of last year, which was
Totally.
super, super cool. So I'm just stoked that we're able to do this. So thank you so much.
And actually, I have seen you play before. And I
At Shaky
think
Knees.
Shaky
I
Knees,
remember
yes.
that.
It was like one of your first tours or one of the first shows, I think, as the solo band.
Yeah, that was the first. It was right after we did the initial run with Guns, and I had sprained my ankle. And that was
Mm,
I had this big boot on,
that's
and
right,
that
you were
was
in the boot.
I'd done two shows that I had to sit down because I literally couldn't stand. And then that
Hmm.
one, I was like, you know what? I'm standing for this. This is a festival. I have to.
Going
I
for
just
it.
kind of waddled around in my boot.
Yeah, I had to do that last year. I tore my meniscus on stage
Oh,
and had to play a couple shows before getting the cortisone shot and like having it feel a little better.
oh man.
And it's the worst, just like waddling around. I was in a like an immobilizer and
Oh
just like
God.
waddling around like a doofus, like
Yeah, you just
trying to
gotta
get
find
down
the
stage for the solos. Like,
just gotta find the
yeah,
proper stance. It's tough.
yeah, exactly. But that show was so good, and it was like you probably, I don't know if you really understood the mystique that was happening around what you were doing at that time, because everybody, like the buzz was like, he's doing it, he's playing all the instruments himself, and everyone was like, really, oh my god, can you do that? It's inspiring to the rest of us to be like, hey, you know what, you can take total control of your art and you can do it your own way and not have to rely on anybody else to do it. So I think
Yeah,
it was awesome.
it was sort of like a fun challenge. I was always inspired by Dave Grohl and how he did the first Foo Fighters thing, and I knew that was always a dream. I was just like, I want to see if I can do it. I can play the instruments, like let's just see if we can do it. And I guess now two records in, I guess I'm comfortable with it. So
You can do it. If I knew how to play all the things, I think I would have done it that way as well. Like, I really can only really play guitar, but it's so hard trying to realize your artistic vision as a solo artist. It's, part of the reason why I didn't start a band and why I just tour as a solo artist, because you just want things the way that you want it. And it's hard. I don't think I could execute it well enough to have it the way that I want it, but it's just hard to sometimes like get your point across to other musicians. So it's
also
awesome that you've been able to just do it on your own.
you'd have to kick your fiance off the drums, which I don't know.
That would never happen. No. I don't, and the cool thing, like, the sort of compromise that I reach with myself is, I work with my fiance and my best friend. My best friend Kat's my keyboard player.
That's
And so
so
the cool thing about it is, even though it's not me doing it, it's like the two people that I'm closest to in the world. So those two know how to execute it like so much better than I ever could. And it makes it better, like other than me trying to like plink out some piano bits,
totally.
like
Yeah, no,
all I
that's
can play is the Jurassic Park theme. So
for live. I think just overall, we're all really excited to play anything from the new album from Mammoth 2, because it's like I kind of wrote everything from the perspective after we had toured for a while of like, man, this will be great for the live show and stuff. So I think songs like the first song off the album, Right, or there's this song called Optimist halfway through that are super like a bit more heavier than what we usually do, and I think that'll be really fun to play live. I know we're really stoked to start practicing them. We have rehearsals starting tomorrow, so that'll be really fun for the tour. But what about you?
that's awesome. I'm excited to hear the heavier stuff live. Um, so for me, it's kind of weird because I almost made two albums in one. I've got all the guests like we talked about, and then I've got the instrumental side as well. So it's almost like doing two shows. I break the set up in half, and I start out instrumental, and then I bring a singer out for like the second half of the set.
Oh, awesome.
And I love playing the shred stuff. I love playing the instrumental stuff. The first song on my record is instrumental. It's called Summer Storm. And like that one is, I think, a really good capture of like who I am artistically right now. I think it's heavy, it's groovy, it's catchy, it's fast, it's melodic. But then after the first part of the set, when we get into the vocal songs, then I can really relax. Then I can, it's not just like go, go, go all the time. Playing instrumental stuff is hard. Like
Very, very
it's
difficult.
stressful, like every, not only are you like thinking about performing and giving the best show you possibly can, but it's like it's a lot of notes
Yeah,
too.
you're juggling a lot for sure.
Yeah. So I love when you have a great singer that tours with me, Casey Carlson, and like when she gets out on stage and she sort of takes over that front man position, and then I can just sort of relax and bop around and I, play solos during the solos, but the rest, I'm playing rhythm and like can relax a little more. So like you
Oh,
said, that the new stuff is the best. I'm excited for that.
I mean, that's what I wish I could do. I
Yeah.
kind of like cursed myself in the fact that I have so much fun recording everything in the studio, and then live I have to be that dude in the front and play everything. I can never just sit back and just like play guitar and like, oh man, I wish I could do that. But
Yeah, I have a lot of luxury with that on the Alice gig because he is like such a, the consummate frontman,
showman.
showman, exactly. And he brings that showman out of all of us, which obviously you've experienced that as well, but having that opportunity to be like, hey, when it's my turn to shine, I'll go up and shine. And then when I lay back, like you really let the principal take that moment.
Exactly. That's really fun. And it's something I don't really get much with
No, you
Rick
screwed
Cup.
yourself on that
Uh,
one.
yeah, which is why I guess when it comes to relaxing, all I can really do to recharge is just sleep.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have enough time to really like anytime we're anywhere, I would rather sleep in my bunk or like play a video game or sleep to really just recharge. Because when you sing that much, I don't think people realize how much singing really takes it out of you. And it's like
Yeah.
singing for an hour and a half and talking to the audience and playing, it's like you're wiped. And we have some
Yeah.
three in a rows on this tour. And it's like, man, I hope I'm able to pull it off. I'm gonna need to get some sleep.
Yeah. On or off tour. Like I'm a sort of like 5, 6 hour a night person, regardless of where I am or what I'm doing. And I just feel like tour time is not really like the chill time. You chill after tour and like during the tour, you're like doing radio stuff, you're doing, Zoom stuff, it's an early load in, you're sound checking, you're doing VIP, like you're doing VIP for the
It's
first
our
time on
first
this
time
tour,
doing
right?
it. Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm really stoked.
Yeah. How are you feeling about that?
It's going to be really fun. The only time I'd ever really did that was when I was in Van Halen and we had like the same thing. People come and hang out during sound check, and I'm really stoked. That was a really fun part of that, and getting to see people and sort of talk and it'll be really fun to do this because I know we're going to do like Q&A stuff, which
Yeah.
and I know my uncle Pat, who's going to be like the moderator of it all, is really excited. It's going to be a good time. People have been
Oh, that's
super
awesome.
positive and super cool. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really dedicated fans, and it's really exciting. Which is it's why also that we have so many people who say like, oh, I'm coming to this show and to that show. So we're working on having two different set lists.
Oh,
Not
cool.
not the Metallica thing because we don't have enough
Right.
songs like that. But like we
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
three or four areas where it's like this will be set A, and then set B, those four songs can be different songs that night. So we want to at least
Oh,
try
that's
and mix
cool.
it up a little bit. It'd be
They're
fun.
gonna love that.
It'll be
That is huge.
stoked.
It's so hard to do, but the VIP thing is really fun. Like I've done it on every tour and I have always done a Q&A, and it's such a cool thing because like of course you want to go out to merch, you want to talk to everybody, you want to thank everybody, but this gives you that like sort of more formal opportunity to be like, get your question answered, take your nice picture, get your autograph, like whatever it is in a way that you're like you're not rushing anybody, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Well, and not to turn it negative, but it also like in this day and age, it's safer.
Yeah.
You can never really vet everyone, and there's always just that scary chance of someone being a little too weird.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
nice formal way of actually being able to finally appreciate the people who aren't the ones that want to eat your skin.
Yeah. Even if I like, when I go out to like a merch table or something afterward, you gotta have someone keep an eye on you and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I have just so enjoyed your social media clapbacks on the name. I just get my popcorn out every time it happens and just do a little lap through the comments and just laugh and laugh and laugh. And I know I'm not
Yeah.
alone in that.
Oh yeah, no, it's every now and then somebody just says something so stupid enough that it can be it's a really good source of comedy. I was never expecting me just calling somebody a grape to
Yeah.
blow up to that level. I thought that was just so weird and so funny. But yeah, I mean, every now and then, just it's pretty funny how some people just kind of don't get it.
No, and it's never anything that makes any sense. You know, it's like these critiques, like I had somebody say something about the Rams performance that we were talking about, and they're like, you know what? She doesn't deserve that gig. You know, she only got that gig because she has a vagina, you know. And this should go to a great guitar player like Randy Rhoads. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
how are you going to give the gig to Randy Rhoads? You
yeah.
want to call him? You want to see if he's available? Like,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that the one thing in common with people like that is they don't really think.
no,
They
no, no,
don't
no.
have that capacity.
Like, okay, you know, and you kind of go like, yeah, you know what, you want to write back and be like, maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should just stop everything I'm doing because, you know, clearly I don't deserve it. But,
Yeah,
you know, it's just silly.
that's the thing you find out, is that that really is, because so many people like through the internet have just a fast track highway to you directly. You end up getting what feels like a majority, but really is just a really vocal minority. And that
Definitely.
way to really judge you know, the how people view you, or how people kind of see you is, you know, like, are people listening, are people coming to the shows? And it's
Yeah,
like, and when you see that, it's like, okay, you know, it's really just a couple loud dickheads, and that's really, you
totally.
know, we both have a kind of storied history with legendary things that have come before us. Have you learned, do you have any specific lessons that you've taken over the years of working with Alice and doing everything like that?
You know, I would say the biggest thing that I take away from touring with Coop is like we run our small tour like a big tour. You know, we don't have nearly the budget or the amount of trucks or like anything that he does, but the way that he has always treated the band and crew is the way that I try to treat my team. You know, we stay in the same hotels, we ride the bus together. You know, to this day, we're, you know, Alice and the band share a bus. If Alice is at the Four Seasons, the crew is at the Four Seasons. If, you know, if the crew is at the DoubleTree, Alice is at the DoubleTree. You know, like it's one for all for one. You know, if the band gets after show food, the crew gets after show food. You know, he'll you know make these elaborate plans. Like the Exorcist movie came out, and he bought, you know, 40 tickets to take like all the drivers, all the crew, everybody, you know.
That's awesome.
And it's really it's all for one and one for all. And I think that's why he has so much longevity with musicians. You know, we've got band members that have been in, you know, around since like the 90s. Since 96, Ryan Roxy's been in the band. You know, our production manager just had his 20th anniversary a couple of days ago. And
That's
I think
awesome.
that's how you inspire loyalty. You know, just treat your team well.
Yeah, that's kind of, you know, that's, yeah, I think over the years, you know, the over a decade I was in Van Halen, it really is, well, with, there's a storied history of friction, at least within the Van Halen
No, really?
ecosystem, if you will. So I guess you learn a lot of things that you would like to do differently at the same time, you know.
Absolutely.
And uh, I think the one lesson, well, I don't know, not any specific lessons, but just kind of over time, we have a rule with Mammoth, especially with how much we've been opening for all these amazing people, is just two rules. It's be on time and don't
Yes.
be sick. And
Love
I think
it.
if you just follow those two rules at all times, you'll find that everything's just going to be okay, because it's not
Yeah,
worth sweating anything else. Um,
totally.
and I think that's what's really cool, to have Mammoth as like our own thing from the ground up, is to foster that exact same type of environment that you're talking about
Yeah.
with Alice. Is that just like, what's the point of being negative and being a dick when you can just all be a happy family that gets to travel together and make music and just be happy? Like, why can't we just do that?